Please listen carefully.
Hello, universe. Welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Summers McKay.
And I'm Christy Jansen, and we are part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to help us all get focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, hump-day-worthy podcast. Today is Wednesday, the 16th of March, 2022. Good morning, Christy. How are you?
Good morning, Summers. I'm good. It's a spring day here in California. How is it back in Texas now that you're back there?
You know what? It's pretty springy around here, too. I think we're going to have a high in the mid-70s and like a low in the mid-50s, so nothing to complain about. I'm just going to give everybody like a little behind the scenes on the Optimist Daily Update record. We switched to a new technology where Christy and I watch each other all the time. It's a recording program called Riverside. But the funny thing about Riverside is that it also takes snapshots while you're recording. And so Christy and I have now made a delightful game out of making weird faces at one another, hoping that Riverside catches said snapshots. So if you want to see what it looks like to record the Optimist Daily Update, you should check out our Instagram, because today there will probably be a crazy image. So
No. I didn't even make my bed behind me today. This is not a day to capture the shots behind me.
Tough luck, lady. You're a video captured person now. This is the news in the world. All right. But speaking of the news in the world, I'm back from a holiday. Our family had a really nice time away in California. It was lovely to see you, Christy. It was amazing and lifting. And there was a headline today that I almost picked, which was how to maximize benefits of a mental health day, because I am certainly benefiting from having been away for a few days. Christy, how are you doing? How's the work week treating you thus far?
Thus far, I'm hanging in there. I would say I've got a lot going on.
Okay.
I've got this project. I have another couple of projects that I'm also in the middle of. And I just am really glad that we've got the team we have. And
yep. Optimist Daily is our most functional relationship, our most functional team here, because making solutions the news is kind of a cool gig. Okay, well, what solutions do we want to talk about today? You first or me first?
I'm happy to go first because I think mine is a pretty cool story.
All right.
And I always like talking about bugs and dogs, which is, both of these wonderful creatures are in my story. So my headline reads, "Ants can detect cancer as well as sniffer dogs," which I just find really cool. We talked, I think last week about, maybe it was Monday, about the ER and therapy dogs.
Right. Therapy dogs in the ER and how it actually reduces pain. Yeah.
When we were talking about the story, I mentioned that since probably forever, dogs have been a useful aid in diagnosing disease, even in the Middle Ages, for example. Mm-hmm. And more recently, we have dogs that can sniff out Parkinson's disease, cancer cells, and also COVID-19. Well, it turns out they're not the only animals that can smell these kinds of differences or changes in human bodies as well as other types of bodies. And other animals can actually be trained to serve as sniffer creatures to help us with disease detection. Mm-hmm. There's a proof of concept study which has recently come out from France, from scientists in France, that has demonstrated that ants also have the ability to sniff out cancer cells. The research shows that a particular species of ant, Formica fusca, or fusca, I don't know how to pronounce it, Formica fusca, can be trained rather quickly to detect cancerous cells with the same accuracy as other animals with smell disease detection abilities like dogs. I just find this fascinating. Ants aren't the only one. Apparently honeybees also have this ability. And not only that, but training a detection dog can take about a year because dogs grow slowly.
Dogs are puppies for a long time. They're baby things for a while.
They're puppies for a long time. It takes a good year to fully train a dog to detect. Apparently, it's much quicker to train an ant to hone in on a particular smell. So this study focused on the ability of ants to smell out volatile organic compounds, which is also called a VOC. Ants do this all the time. I was listening to this really cool study about how if you paint a VOC, the smell of death, on an ant, even if it's a living ant, the other ants will pick it up and take it out of the nest. And it'll keep doing it until the smell wipes off of the can.
Poor little guy.
Of the ant's body.
He's like, but I'm not dead yet.
Because ants are so driven by the organic compounds, the smells around them. And that's how they know to do one thing or another thing, is the smells. So ants typically hone in on VOCs to perform daily tasks like cleaning their nest of dead ants. So anyway, at the same time, researchers have discovered that different types of cancers have their unique volatile organic compounds. So each kind of cancer has its own particular type of smell.
Right.
So by focusing on 2 types of breast cancer cells with different VOCs, they were able to train ants pretty quickly to differentiate healthy human cells from cancerous human cells with the same accuracy of sniffer dogs, which is pretty high. I think it's like 85 or 95%. It's not in this story. I'll have to look it up. So therefore, ants are just as good at dogs as being a biodetector in terms of their detecting abilities. And in some respects, they're even better because it only takes about 30 minutes to train ants to smell this type of disease as opposed to the 6 to 12 months for a dog. Now, I don't know how people would feel to have like a team of ants crawling all over their body, but
my question is, well, like, what do the ants do when they smell it?
Yeah, I don't know.
So there's got to be some sort of signaling, or it's interesting. I'd love to learn more because, a dog is going to bark or be taught relatively easily to give some signal. Like, does the ant wave a little flag?
Well,
but I think this is really fascinating.
Absolutely. So this is just a proof of concept study. And also we'd have to get over our squeamishness. A lot of people are kind of freaked out by insects, and the idea of insects crawling on you is very different than the calming and positive experience of having a dog coming up to you.
Having a therapy dog. We're going to have therapy ants soon.
Yeah. But the reason I like this story also is it's a way of tapping into the wisdom of, quotes, nature to help us in solving problems in our, quotes, human world.
Exactly.
This approach could work on other types of detection, possibly spoiled food, other diseases. And so now they have to figure out if there's a way to market it or turn it into something useful for medicine or other aspects of our lives.
I love it.
What do you want to talk about today, Summers?
Good story. Good choice, Christy. I am also earthbound and going into the dirt because ants live in dirt. I don't know. My headline is actually about a policy change, a highly effective and meaningful decision by the country of Honduras. The headline reads, Honduras puts a stop to open pit mining. Open pit mining may seem self-explanatory to those of you who have ever driven by a large open pit mine, but what open pit mining is one of the most common and also most harmful methods of extracting minerals from Earth. Many countries and organizations are trying to do away with this practice entirely because it involves enormous displacement of soil and causes unprecedented damage to ecosystems. If you ever have driven by an open pit mine or know anyone who works in one, you know that these landscapes are just devastated, right? Nothing survives an open pit mine. Not only is it a real destruction that should be stopped, but it also is incredibly harmful to the miners by the way of the displacement of all the chemicals that are used, and the runoff into nearby water is hugely, hugely dangerous. Thankfully, Honduras is taking a step in the right direction by no longer granting environmental permits for new open pit mines. They are done. A quote from the Ministry of Energy, Natural Resources, Environment, and Mines says, the approval of extractive exploitation permits is canceled for being harmful, threatening natural resources, public health, and limiting access to water as a human right. Now, they're not only forbidding any future mines, they're also taking action to shut down existing open pit operations in a process of review, suspension, and cancellation, canceling deals and environmental permits that are already in place. Honduras is joining El Salvador and Costa Rica in the ban as the Central American movement against open pit mining grows. And this is a wave of change after the election of President Xiomara Castro, who assumed office after a previous 8-year administration that was just a very corrupt one. This is applauded by many organizations, including those supporting indigenous cultures and indigenous communities. An attorney with the Honduran Center for the Promotion of Community Development, Andrea Regina Pineda, is quoted as saying, "We applaud the initiative of this new administration, considering that we are coming out of a dictatorial government that for so many years passed laws unfavorable to indigenous and rural communities and the environment in Honduras." So if you think about open pit mining and wherever you see it in the world, oftentimes it is in rural communities. And, you're not going to have an open pit mine in the middle of a city, right? You're going to have an open pit mine in some of the more expansive land, and that adversely affects rural and indigenous communities. So good job, Honduras. Let's everybody else follow suit. We love it when we have good examples that are changing the world for good. Christy, what else is on the Optimist Daily today?
This concept of shape-shifting robots will blow your mind. This is a transformer type of robot, which is kind of interesting to watch. VR helps reduce social isolation for seniors. As Summers mentioned, this is one of our headlines today, how to maximize the benefits of a mental health day. And if you're feeling unstable, here's how you can test your balance. What else, Summers?
In a change in how we fuel our world, China pledges to build large solar and wind farms in the Gobi Desert. Tips and tricks to beat the Monday blues. Get these in now so you'll be happy next Monday. 3 surprising myths about vitamin C and signs of life discovered deep in the earth. That and much, much more, as always, is available on theoptimistdaily.com. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Optimist Daily Update. We will do it. We'll share positive solution-based stories and ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for the good. If you like listening to the Optimist Daily Update, if you like our stories, please share them on your social media with those you love. In particular, if anybody's on Reddit, just share our stuff on Reddit. Reddit's a good place. Instagram, Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Thank you, everybody, and we will be back tomorrow with more solutions.